Okay, so let's finish up our investigation into HTML for now. And we're going to do so by just covering a few more items. And you could say there's a list of items that we're going to cover, and the first item we're going to cover is lists. So this is the document we had previously, and I see, let's see, a little error in this one. So if you look down here, this paragraph opens up with the paragraph tag, but closes with a H3 tag. So let's fix this. Go to paragraph, and then hit enter. And so each of these, I had it saying this is, and whatever the item is. So I'm going to copy this, go down here, and change it to these are veggies. Okay, so this is the code that we had so far, which renders this. Okay, so now let's move on, and let's first add a list that is unordered. So here we've got a list of things that are good with bacon. So what I'm going to do is add this HTML, and it's going to produce a list with bullet points. So unordered lists start with the UL tag, and each list item starts with the LI tag, and then of course is closed off by the backslash with the LI. So we've got unordered list, UL, then we've got the items in the list that are tagged with the LI tag, and then you close out the list with the backslash UL tag, and that's going to give you a bullet pointed list, right? So you go here, and I'm just going to copy this and go over to my text editor, and let's add that under bacon. So here I am in the text, and I'll go here, and you know, if I put that list in, nobody's going to know what it's a list of. So let's do a header 3. And I'm just going to copy that and paste it in, and then change the text inside of the header 3 and have it say, bacon is good on. Like that, and I'll save the document. And then I've opened, remember, you know, if I go to Finder and open this document, so I can do it here, it's on my desktop, and I just go open with Safari. And there it is. And bacon is good on. All right? So that shows me what the HTML renders to inside of the browser. And so this is what we've got right now. So that's an unordered list. So let's say we want to add an ordered list. Let's say at the end of this, I want to have things ranked in the order which I like them. And unlike a lot of folks, I like veggies more than cheese and bacon. It's very close with cheese, though, I can tell you. So this code here is an ordered list, and so it opens up with the OL tag, and then each item in the list is again tagged with the LI and backslash LI closing it, and then you're going to finish out the ordered list with the closing backslash OL tag, and that's going to give you, by default, a numbered list, so it would look like this. So if I go back over to the text editor, and let's say I go after veggies, and I do another H1 tag, and I'll say my ranking of these foods. Okay, so that's an H1. Okay, so my ranking of these foods, and that's an H1 tag, and this would work, but I'm going to do this because it's just more organized if I keep it all in the same line by my way of reading. We'll talk about some other things you can do to keep your HTML readable and organized to make it easier for you to work with, especially if you get a lot of it. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so this is my ranking of these foods. And then I go ahead and copy this HTML that I had typed out over here. So it's ordered list HTML. And I'll just paste that in. So now I'm going to get an ordered list here. And I'll go File, Save. Go back over here and refresh. Now if I scroll down, I've got my ranking of these foods. Okay, so that's an ordered list. So now we've added in an unordered list here and an ordered list there using this HTML. So ordered list is going to look like that, and unordered list going to look like that. So now you know how to do those things. Okay, so I was talking before about how to sort of make your HTML readable. So to do that, you're going to use comments, and comments can be added in just like this. Very easy. That's your text for comments. So let me just show you how that would work. Comments, comments show up only in the actual source code. They are not going to be visible when you render your HTML, okay? And you'll use them to make it easier to edit the source code, especially if you have a lot of it. So if I go over to my source code and I want to just put in some sort of a comment, go down here and I can paste this stuff in here. And so the comments will be this text. And I'll say, this is my paragraph with lorem ipsum. Oops. Didn't spell lorem ipsum right. This is my paragraph, lorem ipsum, about bacon. Okay? So let's say I just wanted to have that in there. So now I've added this stuff here and I go File, Save. When I render this in HTML, everything's going to look exactly the same, except for, and I don't know, I guess I did this before. Let's find right here, bacon ipsum. Oh yeah, look, I used a lowercase u in bacon ipsum. All right, so now if I fix that, that'll render, right? So when I refresh this, oh, now that's fixed. But nowhere does it say anything about this is my paragraph with lorem ipsum about bacon, because when you add in comment codes, that's what they're for. So that if I go back through and I'm reading this HTML, I can see, okay, this is what's there. This is a relatively short HTML document, so comments wouldn't be terribly necessary for you. But still, you may need them if you are doing longer HTML. So anywhere in here that you choose to put in comments. So this is about cheese. And I can do another one. Say it's about veggies. So now I've got comments in this document, File, Save, and remember, nothing's going to change in the actual rendering inside of the browser when you use comments, right? So that's your text, that's your syntax if you want to add comments. let's talk about attributes. So attributes give more information about specific HTML, and we've already used attributes in a number of the things that we've done in this HTML document. So the first one is the href attribute. So the tag for a hyperlink is just a, right? And closing a. But without the href attribute, that tag doesn't know where to lead to when the hyperlink is clicked on. So the href attribute is inside of the opening a tag. And so you say href equals, and then inside of quotation marks, you put the web address. So href specifies what address a hyperlink tag leads to. You can look in that over here when we find our hyperlink, right there, href baconipsum.com, because that's the link to the Bacon Ipsum site, and then the actual text of the hyperlink is enclosed by the tags. But the href is actually inside of the a tag rather than enclosed by the opening and closing a tag. All right. So then you've got source. So source specifies the file name and location of the source image being used. So for example, when we use the veggies image, this source src equals, and then inside of the quotation marks, it's going to tell you where that source image is. In this case, it's inside of the images folder, and it's called veggies. So that's the source image to be used for the image as noted here inside of the HTML. Image source equals images veggies.jpg, and so that's where you're telling with your HTML for it to render that image found at that location. Okay, so let's talk about if you want to set the size of the image. So again, this is inside the image tag, but now you're adding another reference. Okay, so the reference that you're adding here, and I want to change this because this isn't actually part of it. It's highlighted. Okay, so width and height. So I've got this image. I've put the image tag down, which is just MIG. Then I have to give it the source attribute of where the image can be found that it should render, and I've shown you about that just previously. Now we want to actually give it a height and width. So this is pixels. Let's just add that right over here. Okay, width 500, height 600. I don't know what this is actually going to do to the dimensions of this image. Let's find out. So file, save. It's going to make it 500 by 600 pixels, but I don't know if that's going to skew the aspect ratio of the image. Let's see. Oh yeah, it did. So now it's made it kind of taller than it should be. See, it sort of stretched it out here. So if I take this back out, okay, then save, then render again. So it looks like that, which was the native size of the image. So I could do that again with the cheese if I go up here and add that attribute. Re-render. It's gonna distort the size of the image. But that's a way that you can directly control the size of the image that you're using. And then you may want to have a title tag which will allow some text to show up when you hover over an area. Okay, so if inside of a paragraph I add this title, so I'll add this attribute. So again, it's just title equals, and then in kind of inside of quotations what you want it to say. So in this case, it's just going to say, you can see this when the mouse is over the paragraph. So if I go over here to one of my paragraphs and add that in. I'm going to add it into the Bacon Lorem Ipsum. Okay, so now this title is added when you hover over the paragraph. Let's take a look at what happens. So I'll file save, re-render, and you can see that this text pops up. You can see this when the mouse is over the paragraph. So if I go not over the paragraph anymore, it goes away. Go over the paragraph, it comes back up. In CSS, this is called a tooltip, but it's just called a title in HTML. So you can do all of those things. So I might want to make it say, I love bacon. File save. Go over here. Rerun, refresh, and now I love bacon. Okay, so you can put that over each of your elements. So those are attributes. So they're not tags. They're elements that you add to tags to add features to elements inside of your HTML. Okay, so what we've covered here are lists, unordered and ordered, comments, which allow you to better understand your HTML when you're reading the source code, or others. Comments can be especially important if you're working with other folks on your HTML. Then a number of attributes such as href, which just tells you where a hyperlink links to, source, which tells you where an image source file can be found, width and height, which controls the width and height of an image, and then title, which can cause text to come up when you hover over an element. So go ahead and add these elements. In particular, the title, I want you to adjust width and height on an image. href you're already using, and source you're already using. I'd like you to add comments to an ordered list and an unordered list to the HTML document that you've been working on that contains your lorem ipsum, and submit that to this assignment. And so I'll be going in again to look for an unordered list, an ordered list. I'll be looking for comments, and I will also want to find width and height changed on an image, and title. So if you could add the title to all 3 paragraphs, so like I did, I love bacon. So you over each of your paragraphs, I'd like you to have a title attribute. I'd like you to adjust at least one of your images. I would like you to add a comment to each section, so 3 comments, and I'd like one ordered and one ordered list added to your HTML document, saved and uploaded to this assignment. Okay, thank you very much.